This is Electro Spirit, and I made it myself. Yes, I made it. Well, Electro Spirit is from the company Supercell in the game Clash Royale. It will take you one elixir to be able to activate Electro Spirit, and what it does is that it actually disintegrates into a nice lightning bolt that will strike all the opponents, all your enemies. So now let's start by understanding how it was made. The company ArtStation actually created a nice rendering of the figure itself. I went ahead and bought some polymer clay. I ordered this one and it came with some small tools and a ton of different colors. It comes with the instructions as well, so I recommend you to take a look at them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find some colors that actually mimic the color of Electro Spirit, and normally you will say that you can use blue and pink to create some sort of fuchsia, but I was trying to find a nice color and yet I messed up and actually made some sort of a purple. So because I mixed it up some red with the blue and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm gonna use that for another project. But let's pick the colors that we're gonna use, and because we have some sort of fading on the figure itself, we want to make sure that we have enough of the material. Now all these little carving tools I use them normally for my clay projects, my regular clay projects, and it's okay, I can use it over here as well. And I'm excited because I never used this before. So I'm using this glass piece over here, glass cutting board, because it's really good to work with. So you see the purple over there, I didn't need that one, so I'm trying to create some sort of fuchsia here, and that's why I'm mixing the light pink and the darker pink, or the fuchsia itself, just to kind of come out with the colors. Now that I have a color that it looks really close to what I need, I'm gonna go ahead and take out the little sections that I'm gonna use for the legs, the arms, and a little bit of the hair that looks like a lightning bolt hair, which is kind of cool. Now the next thing that I need to do is to make sure that I have the right proportions and that my little figure, at least the body of my little figure, looks really close to what it needs to be. So I'm going to start by creating the proportions of the legs. And the cool thing about this clay, as I make it ovoid, or just trying to make it look like an egg, the cool thing about it is that as you form it, you will be able to just kind of keep adding some sort of shape as you put it together. Now to fusion this together, to put it together, what we're going to do is we're going to add some pressure into the legs and the body itself, and those little things, those little marks over there, they will be fading later on, and I'll show you how it's going to happen. So the first thing that we're going to do is add it. It's fairly sticky, the material is fairly sticky, and what you want to do is you want to start creating a little bit of pressure and kind of fading all the stuff. Remember to follow me on other social media as Hugo Correa in YouTube and Hugo Correa DIY in Facebook for a lot of more videos. Now let's take some of the mouth polymer clay and try to kind of come out with a void in the middle, because if I put too much pressure and try to just kind of make the mouth by pushing, I'm gonna just kind of deform our little figure, and we don't want to add a lot of more volume into our figure. We want to maintain a proportion. Now the inside obviously is going to be kind of wide open right now as I prepare for a little bit of more marks around the lips with all the fuchsia that I have there, and some darker color inside. So that's why I want to make it nice and round inside, and I'm just going to come out with a little bit of the fuchsia around the mouth, just to kind of give that perspective of a lip, which you can actually see in the game. And by adding some of that purple, I'm creating the inside. So just a little bit of purple with the original color that we're using for the entire figure, and we're just going to put it inside. We're going to tuck it inside, and we want to make sure that it is nice and compressed there. Now remember that I'm using a rendering, a figure that I'm seeing in my screen, in my tablet screen. So that will help me to kind of count all the areas in like teeth and where the position of the eyes and all that. So it's really helpful, and that's why I encourage you to kind of go to all these pictures and renderings that you can find online and just kind of make it yourself. Now the inside of the eye socket is kind of a little bit of, they use a little bit of fuchsia with the white, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit, and I'm going to make these two little round circles, flat circles, and just kind of press them inside with the back of that kind of chisel over there, the little you know, kind of curving or molding a tool there. So I'm gonna, you know, now that I have some kind of cool eye sockets, I'm gonna go ahead and put the little Y eyes inside. And remember that this is a ghost, so you know, we're gonna try to deal with a ghost that has arms and a ghost that has teeth, which is kind of weird, right? To have the teeth. Now you see, now that I, you know, form the mouth and all these areas, I can go ahead and do the arms, because if I, you know, if you create those arms before, then you're gonna be in trouble trying to just kind of curve the entire thing. Now count the teeth and start, you know, creating the proportions. Some of them are a little smaller than the other ones, and also, you know, in this case will be kind of round, but as you press them inside, you can make them cubical, you can make them look like a teeth. And you know, so that's the cool thing about polymer clay, that once you press it, it gets sticky on the tip of the tools, and you start pressing it and kind of fusioning the tooth, you know, every time that you press it. So it's really cool because, you know, you can actually move it around. I actually removed one of the tooth because it was kind of too big, but one is actually separated, like if it's missing a tooth, right? So that's how exactly I'm gonna do it, like I see it on the screen, which is kind of cool. Normally what I'll do is that I will take some screenshots of different figures if I want to do something, but honestly this is the first time that I use polymer clay. Remember that you can comment and ask more questions on my different pages, YouTube as Hugo Correa, and Facebook as Hugo Correa DIY. Well, there you can find them in Spanish. All right, so now we are creating, you see that we can start making some sort of square shapes on the teeth. So that's really cool. And once you finish kind of adding all these teeth, you want to go ahead and do the other part, which is try to work with your hair. So now I'm going to shape them really well. I want to make sure that everything is fine. I'm going to put a little bit of the hair on top. There are like 3 lightning bolt like pieces of hair that, you know, make it look like Electro Spirit. And the cool thing about it is that as you you know, press it, you can actually start fading away those marks of, like, you know, a new piece on top. You'll see in a moment. Now I have to admit, because it's so thick, the material that I'm working with is so thick, you're gonna see my fingerprints. And I came out with a really cool idea to avoid a whole bunch of fingerprints on my little figure. And that's what I've seen in other people that makes all these you know, kind of small figures, that you can see the fingerprints, you can see a lot of dents. So I'm gonna show you in a moment a little secret of how I'm taking care of all these little things. So now I just want to make sure that I can shape it good enough. I'm going to put it at 260 for 15 minutes, and I'm going to let it cool off later on after that, because obviously they're going to be really hot. And at this point, actually, once it's nice and cold, it feels like a regular toy. That's the cool thing about this polymer clay. But you know, my finger prints are on this thing, and I don't want it to look really bad. So I went ahead and used a rotary tool to start grinding little sections and giving a little more contour to the hair, to the mouth, to the hands, and make sure that it actually can stand. So that's the cool thing about that. And I was able to, like, you know, grind a lot of that stuff. And later on, you know, that's the rotary tool that I bought, really inexpensive. I use these little tips to polish, to clean, you know, something really cool in a small scale. I mean, normally you will see me doing big jobs and remodeling and all these things, but in this case, what I want to do is I want to make sure that everything looks nice and straight. So I'm going to go ahead, and not only that, but I'm going to apply a little bit of wax, some wax that I have, actually the one that I used to kind of polish my car. And with I guess 2 passes of that, or 2 coats, I was able to get it nice and shiny. So this little figure is really beautiful. I'm really excited because I have a ton of more figures that I want to do, and I want to share with you, and we can actually learn all these things as I go. You will learn the techniques that I'm learning. I'm actually watching a lot of videos of how people do these things, and I find a lot of people that has a ton of knowledge. So this is what I want to share with you. A beautiful little piece that looks amazing, that looks like a real figure. This is the only one that I know that is made. The rest of them I know that they're really expensive, and I'm really excited that I can have my own collection at a fraction of the cost. So please subscribe, share, and like, and don't forget to follow my other pages. See you later.